What is up, rockers, clockers, and creative blockers? Thanks for sitting down at the Messy Desk with me this week. I'm pretty sure I've used that rhyme before, but if I have, it's just a perfect ironic encapsulation of my mental state and my ability to create. That rhymed. Uh, we love when that happens. Today, I don't have anything for you, really. I don't have anything going on up here or in here. If you know me at all, if you've talked to me on a personal basis at all this year, or even just kind of paid attention to my videos, you'll know that I'm not exactly having a banner year for creativity. I don't know if it's just general fatigue, uh, the pandemic, I don't know, but I just have not created much of anything outside of specific content for this channel this year. Especially, over the last year, not just this year, but over the last year from 2021 into 2022. In 2022, I've done next to nothing. And that kind of manifests in the lack of videos and lack of music and all this stuff. So today, I just kind of wanted to talk about one of the ways that I kind of break out of creative block a little bit, or try to anyway, which is I sit down and I go through old projects and I try to find something that's a half-baked idea that I ended up kind of writing off at the time. But then, coming back to it, maybe I feel a lot different about it, which is definitely the case with this project here. So I thought I would just show you it a little bit, talk through what I did initially, and then what I did coming back to it and kind of iterating on it. And, if I might do anything going forward, I don't really know. Everything's sort of up in the air this year with me mentally and emotionally. So hard to say for sure, but I do have a dog sleeping right there. It's very cute. I got a dog sleeping on my lap. He's very cute. Hi, dude. Can you help me create? Can you make the videos for me? That's not going to happen. All right, down Frank goes. Yeah, so let's talk about it a little bit. The whole project started with this blank forms sample, which is, no surprise, spoiler alert, gorgeous. And I must have been feeling as lazy then as I feel now, because I did next to nothing to the loop. I didn't even pitch shift it, really. I think, literally, I just hit, hey, play this loop, so I can try to make a shitty two-step beat. And I did do that. So let's listen to the loop. Oof. That's just so good. Also, you have to excuse me if I'm sniffling and coughing throughout this. My kids have been sick for a week, and now I think I'm getting it. It's not COVID. We've tested multiple times, but you can still get sick and have it not be COVID, turns out. So that's something that we're all dealing with here in the Wolf family household. But yeah, so look, to give myself a little bit of credit, I do some processing here. I have some filtering going on, and I also have some sample reduction. And what is giving it this sort of constant, crinkly, crunchy vibe is that I have an LFO on the sample reduction, just sort of moving up and down just a little bit, just the teensiest bit. Initially, I had it way too high, I think because during a lesson I was showing somebody how you could use LFOs for, kind of great effect. But yeah, it was just sort of a minute thing that just, I always talk about this, kind of contributes to a crunchy vibe, contributes to that sort of lo-fi feeling, which is what I felt like this was going for. And then I added this little rim shot here. I was trying to make a two-step beat, and it didn't really turn out that way, which is something that happens very regularly with my music. I try to make something a certain way, and I'm not smart enough to do it the certain way, so it ends up just becoming some weird amalgamation of something else. But, that can result in interesting stuff like this, I hope. And that sounds like this. And if you listen to the rem, you can hear there's some automation going on there. What I've done is let me pull this up. I have some trigless triggers. I have a bunch of different parameter locks. Just changing the reverb amount. Let me find that here. Changing the mix amount on certain steps, the time amount on certain steps. Just really kind of minutely messing with the reverb. I have some trigless trigs here, and then I think a slide trig. Yeah, to slide between them. So yeah, I'm messing around a lot with these sort of small details that you might not hear super clearly when, in the context of a full mix. But it adds a little something extra. And that's something that I encourage people to do a lot, which is you might think the small details aren't that important. And I often stress that they're really not as important when you're starting a project, when you're just getting started. But this is something I came back and did to try to liven up this loop a little bit, because if I take off all that automation and it's nothing, it sounds much drier, much more mechanical. And this is not to say that this is some, poster boy for organic music or anything like that. But I don't know. Maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll disagree. Do you think that this automation kind of works or does something? Engage with me down in the comments, please. Say something. I'm giving up on you. So yeah, the next thing I did was I added a kick. And again, this is a kick that I left pretty dry when I worked on the project. It was just kind of nothing. But when I came back, I decided I'm going to make it sound weird and probably bad. But I don't care. And so the kick by itself sounds like this. Revolutionary. What I'm doing to the kick is I'm using 2 layers of distortion. I'm using the lo-fi distortion going in to the filter distortion and filtering it out the lows just a little bit. If I pull back this EQ here, you can hear it's very slight, but the character changes just a little bit in a way that I enjoy. And so that in context with everything else sounds like this. Now, if I was being a little more creative, if I was being a little more finely detailed, I could do the same sort of thing that I did to the rim shot, which is kind of minutely program that distortion through automation, through parameter locks, just to, again, kind of give it some dynamics so it's not just a constant thudding. Probably some ghost kicks would be a good idea. Stuff that I was too lazy to do ramping up to this video, but stuff that I probably will do going forward because I'm quite liking this project. So yeah, that was the kick. I highly encourage you to try mixing the distortions because the lo-fi distortion by itself isn't great all the time, and the filter distortion by itself sometimes is lacking, but if you combine them two, you can get an interesting blend of their strengths and also their weaknesses, so something worth checking out for sure. The next thing I did was something I was completely flabbergasted that I hadn't done when I initially started this project, which was add another layer of the same sample, but pitched up an octave. And now you'll have to forgive me here because it doesn't come in until the second loop. So let's just listen and have a good time and hang out. And I'll lift Frank up and put him in front of the camera, and we'll just have a good time. So let's listen. Yeah, so it's literally just the sample pitched up an octave and drowned in reverb. Ooh. Yeah, baby. And it sounds so nice. And then I'm not going to make you wait around for this, but on the 4th loop here, on the 4th of 4 times, I have this. Which, surprise, surprise, is literally just the loop, but reversed. I think what I'm going to do is cut out some of that low end in the reverb, because that's something I should have done. It sounds a little muddy with that there. Hell yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of the basis of it. And speaking of basses, here is a bass that happened. It's a bass. It's really nothing special. It's this TV303 sample that I use a ton. It's one of the first bass samples I ever loaded on the Octatrack, and it's just something that's stuck with me ever since. And so yeah, nothing special with the bass, but I've talked about this so many times. I'm not a bass guy. I don't know how to do any this Seinfeld stuff. So it's always going to be fairly simple coming from me. And then the last kind of techie thing I did was I added this other sample from the Blank Form sample pack, which is fantastic, by the way. You should really support his stuff if you haven't. He has a YouTube channel as well. It's bigger than mine. Not complaining, not petty about it. Just saying it's a statement of fact. He's much bigger than me, and he fucking deserves it, okay? But go check him out if you haven't, if you don't know about him. Buy his sample packs. He makes a living doing this stuff, and he should, because it's fucking unreal. So it's this sample. No. It's this sample. Yeah, that's what it is. What is it? I don't know. Some sort of tape distortion nonsense. He's a genius. I just let him do the hard work, and I just clicky the buttons and say, that's some music. So let's listen to how that fits in the context of everything. Yeah, so it's just some texture. It's a little loud, I think. Maybe I should turn it down a bit. I'll potentially also filter it out a little bit more. I do have a filter on it. Yeah, there's no excuse for me to have not filtered that out. So I probably should filter that a little bit. It's funny how even coming back to a project, you're lazy again. You iterate on stuff because you're not having to start from scratch. So it's a little easier to just kind of get going and get creating and iterating. But then you're still you're still lazy, still a piece of shit. So sometimes you don't do those things. So I should really, come back to it again and keep iterating. And this is why I suggest to students, for example, I've been doing a couple lessons with some students on having them just work on one project for a month. And something I always tell them is, for week 1, just get a base down, just get something done. And then week 2, come back and iterate. And week 3, come back and iterate. And week 4, finish up with finishing touches. And it's really amazing to me just how much better a project can get when you just come back to it over and over and over and over again. It's not as fun. It's not as, immediately satisfying as just sitting down and cranking out a beat. And so that's probably why a lot of us don't do it, myself included. I'm the biggest proponent of not doing that. It's something that is hugely useful. So if you're struggling to come up with something totally new, comb through your old projects, find something old, see if you can iterate on that and make it a little bit better, take it to the next level. You might find out that you like music your past self made for once, which is, a rarity, but it's pretty sick when it does happen. The last things I'll show you here is that I have a couple scenes. It could not be less revolutionary. It's just a high pass filter. With a little bit of automation to let this sample come through, which is fun. A low pass, which probably has a little too much rolled off. And then everybody's favorite, the delay lock. And that's it. Really quick, if you don't know how to do the delay lock, all you got to do, man, you just got to fucking set your lock to on there. You got to turn your send up just a little bit. You got to come over here. You got to turn that send down to 0. Turn that feedback all the way up. There you go, dude. You fucking did it. Can you tell I'm tired? I don't feel well. But I hadn't made a video last week, and I missed you guys. And I miss making videos, so I wanted to try to make one. Is that okay that I'm kind of in the dumps? I don't know. Maybe it makes me vulnerable and relatable and cultivates that parasocial relationship that I love to cultivate. I don't know. You tell me. You comment down below. You talk to me like we're friends. You tell me. Is this good? Do you like this? I like you. And I like you hanging out. And I want to appreciate you doing that. That's not how I wanted that sentence to go. I want to thank you for doing that. I want to thank you for sitting down at the Messy Deaths with me this week. Because you could have sat down with anybody on the whole dang planet. But instead, you chose to sit down with me. A guy who literally in real time is becoming delirious. I need some water. I need some rest. And I have an 8-hour workday ahead of me. Don't worry. I'm just laying in bed and answering phones. It's not that serious. I will be back sometime. I don't know if it'll be next week. Hopefully I feel better, and I will be back next week with a new video. I have no idea what it's going to be about. I'm not going to promise anything about anything ever again because I just feel real sad about it on my insides when I don't/can't follow through. So yeah, maybe it'll be a video of like me and Ricky playing a board game next week. That sounds nice. Can I do that? Comment down below if I can do that. I would love to do that. Just play a little game. Just a little game for Dad. Anyway, before my brain starts leaking out of my headphones, I want to say that I love you, and you're cute, and you look good today, damn. And what's up, little mama? I like the way you move. Anyway, I'm Daniel. That's Link. This is Frank. This, right here, is the Messy Desk. And I love you more than I love the bed I'm about to go lay in. Holy Christ. All right. I'll see you next week, maybe sometime. Peace. Can I play a board game, please?